In the shady corner of our vast world, where sunbeams play, with colorful petals and the wind whispers tales to the leaves, stands a majestic oak tree. It is old and mighty, like time itself, filled with age-old secrets. It is here that a little caterpillar named Guzy lived. Our eyes would not have noticed her amidst the greenery, but her heart was filled with more than one could imagine. Guzy dwelled in a shelter made of intertwined leaves, which acted as an old cloak protecting her from the world. Her neighbor, cheerful cicada, never forgot to brighten the forest with its joyful chirping. However, the caterpillar was often bullied by various insects, who didn't want to be friends with her because she was considered ugly. "Listen, Guzy," he would say, "don't worry about what Bumblebeetle, Tick, and Busy do." But Guzy still carried the wounds of ruthless treatment. Her little heart trembled with bitterness, and her eyes were filled with tears. "Why can't I be like them?" she silently asked herself, gazing at her reflection in the morning dew. All of this continued until the day something extraordinary sparkled deep within the oak tree. A mystical light, soft and warm, penetrated the thickness of the wood. It was something unknown, something Guzy had never seen before. Suddenly, as if from within her own heart, an idea sprouted in Guzy's mind. "I must find out what this is," she told herself. And with that thought, she set off toward the mysterious light, unaware of what awaited her ahead. Her heart beat faster as she crawled toward the glistening spot, overcoming every tiny obstacle along the way with her small legs. At that moment, the ancient snail appeared, a wise creature who had lived in the oak for centuries. It was large, with a shell on its back, and its gliding body was strangely captivating. "A starstone, you say?" the snail slowly uttered, as if time flowed differently for him. "It is an ancient symbol of our oak tree. They say the stone grants wishes." Dreaming of friendship and respect, Guzy immediately reached for the stone. But when she touched it, the stone vanished, leaving warmth in her paws and only a bright shimmer in the air. "But what?" Guzy was shocked. The snail, too, seemed excited. "Oh, this is unusual," he muttered slowly, shielding his astonished eyes. Guzy looked at her paws, feeling her heart racing in her chest. She couldn't understand what had happened. Rumors of the starstone and its disappearance quickly spread throughout the oak tree. Bumblebeetle, Tick, and Busy immediately blamed Guzy, declaring her a thief who sacrificed the stone for her selfish desires. It all began with joy and innocent curiosity, but now Guzy found herself at the center of a scandal. "I'm so scared, cheerful cicada," Guzy confessed to her friend as they sat under a leaf. He supported her, but uncertainty was evident in his eyes. Trouble had caught Guzy's attention. On an early gray morning, when the wind mournfully whispered a melody among the oak tree branches, Guzy decided to gather everyone for an important announcement. "Friends, it's time to take action. We must find the starstone." Her eyes gleamed with determination. "But how will we do it, Guzy?" "It could be anywhere," Bumblebeetle remarked with doubt in his voice. "Exactly, it's like searching for a needle in a haystack," Tick supported him, shaking his fluffy head. "We will find it," Guzy confidently stated. "We will search every branch, every hollow, every crevice in this oak." And so, despite their doubts, they began their search, checking every leaf, examining every twig and crack in the tree, but to no avail. The search proved more challenging than they had imagined, and even their most persistent efforts yielded no results. Meanwhile, unknown to the inhabitants of the oak tree, an ancient mechanism stirred in its deep roots. Some ancient secret, dormant deep underground, began to awaken after the disappearance of the starstone. Later, the caterpillar was haunted by nightmares about the future of their home, the oak tree. Sorrow weighed heavy in her heart like a stone. With each passing day, her body started to change. The scales, once green and luminescent, began to shimmer with all the colors of the rainbow. "What is happening to me?" she wondered, fearing these transformations. One day, while resting among the leaves, she encountered Granny Butterfly, an old and wise butterfly known for her knowledge of transformations. Granny Butterfly smiled at Guzy and said, "Fear not, my little one. You are simply turning into a butterfly, just like I once did." Granny Butterfly spent time with Guzy, teaching her about her new body and her newfound abilities. With each passing day, Guzy embraced her new form more and more. When Guzy finally completed her transformation into a butterfly, everyone was stunned by her beauty. Her wings, colored like the most magnificent rainbow, sparkled under the sunlight, creating an enchanting sight. "You're so beautiful, Guzy!" exclaimed Snail, and admiration shone in his eyes. During the time when all the insects marveled at her transformation, Guzy felt a newfound strength within herself. Perhaps this was what they needed to find the Starstone. But for now, Guzy could only enjoy her new form, forgetting about her nightmares. Suddenly, the sky grew dark and thunderclouds obscured the stars. A powerful wind began to rage, swirling the leaves and branches of the oak tree. But the worst was the lightning that sliced through the sky like a sharp knife and struck the oak directly, igniting a fire. Fear gripped all the insects. Slack, frozen in horror, whispered, "No, this can't be." Cheerful Cicada nervously chirped, and the other insects hid in fear. Their home and sanctuary, the oak tree, was burning. But Guzy, remembering her nightmares, decided to take action. She closed her eyes and gathered her courage, harnessing her new abilities. She spread her rainbow wings and soared into the air, heading towards the fire. Slack, bravely perching on a branch, shouted to her, "Remember, Guzy, you're stronger than you think." His words were a beacon in the dark night. They gave her strength, and she dove into the fire, using her newfound ability to summon a powerful rain. As the rain drenched the burning oak, cheerful Cicada joined the fight, creating loud music that encouraged everyone and drove away fear. Under the astonished gaze of all the insects, the fire gradually subsided until it finally died out completely. The oak tree was all right, although some of its branches were charred and some leaves were scorched. But it was saved, and the insects could once again feel safe within its branches. Guzy, tired but content, flew back to her friends. Her wings were slightly singed, but her spirit was indomitable. She was the hero of that night, the butterfly who saved their home from the fire. The following day, the oak tree was filled with noise and laughter. The insects, still somewhat shaken by the events of the previous night, gathered around Guzy, who shone brightly with her new, beautiful wings. Bumble Beetle, more bashful than usual, approached Guzy and said, "Guzy, we are incredibly grateful to you. We're sorry we didn't appreciate you before. You've transformed into the most beautiful butterfly we've ever seen and saved our home. You're a true hero." Then Tick approached, nervously clicking his antennae. "Guzy, I haven't always been kind to you. I apologize. You've shown that greatness isn't measured by size, but by heart. Thank you." Next came cheerful Cicada, who simply smiled and softly said, "Thank you, Guzy." There were many words of gratitude, many accompanied by apologies. But Guzy accepted them all with a smile and the wisdom that was as beautiful as her appearance. And so, from that day forward, they all lived together like a family. Their days were filled with joy and laughter, and their nights were peaceful and safe.
In the magical forest lived a dog named Bella. She loved spending her free time with her friend, a little rabbit. In this forest, there were tall trees, noisy streams, and mysterious paths, but Bella was always afraid and avoided them. In the mornings, she liked to have porridge with fruit. One day, the rabbit disappeared, and Bella decided to find him. But she was afraid to go into the forest and face the unknown. She was even scared of her own shadow. She realized that she could not find her friend, if she was afraid of everything. She needed to be brave. Bella asked the hedgehog and the squirrel to go with her to search for the rabbit. They walked through tall trees, overgrown shrubs, crossed a noisy river, and arrived at a small clearing where they found traces of the rabbit. "The tracks lead to that bush," said Bella. "But we need to be careful in case someone is following us," warned the squirrel. "You're right. We need to be careful," replied Bella. As they approached the bush, they heard a noise. Bella was frightened and froze. "What was that?" she asked, her voice full of concern. "I don't know, but I feel like we need to hide," replied the squirrel. They hid behind a large rock and then quietly approached the bush to see what was happening. "There's someone there," whispered the hedgehog, pointing to the dark spot moving between the trees. "Who are you?" asked Bella. "I'm not going to tell anyone who I am," replied the animal. "But we're looking for our friend, the rabbit. Have you seen him?" continued Bella. "No, I haven't seen the rabbit, but I can help you. I know this forest better than anyone," offered the animal. "Thank you. We would love your help," replied Bella. They continued to search for the rabbit's tracks with the unfamiliar animal, and eventually they found him. He was sitting under a bush. With frightened eyes, they rescued their friend and brought him home. "Thank you for finding me. I'm so happy to have such wonderful friends," said the rabbit with a smile. Bella, the hedgehog, and the squirrel were happy that they could help their friend the rabbit. They all returned home together, and the rabbit told them what had happened. "I heard a sound and went to see what it was, but I fell into a pit and couldn't get out. I was so scared that no one would hear my cry," the rabbit recounted. "But we heard your cry and came to help," replied Bella. "Yes. I'm so glad that I have such wonderful friends," said the rabbit, hugging Bella, the hedgehog, and the squirrel. "We will always protect you and help you," reassured Bella. They all sat together on the green lawn, and the rabbit told them about the old cave he found in the forest. "I found an old cave that no one has seen in many years. There were many things in it that we can use for games," said the rabbit. "Let's go there tomorrow," suggested the squirrel. "Yes, that's a great idea," agreed Bella. They were all so happy together that they forgot about their fear and simply enjoyed the pleasant evening and the sunset. The next morning, Bella, the hedgehog, the squirrel, and the rabbit set out to search for the old cave. They walked through the forest, enjoying nature and the bird song. "We must be getting close," said Bella, when they reached a small clearing. They passed through it and saw the entrance to the cave. "Look how beautiful it is," exclaimed the squirrel. "Yes, and I'm sure we'll find many interesting things to play with inside," added the hedgehog. They entered the cave and saw a plethora of different items, old knights' armor, and toys. "Wow, there's so much," exclaimed Bella. "Let's start playing," suggested the squirrel. Together they played knights and princesses and treasure hunting. Their imagination was working at full power, and they spent the whole day in the cave. "It was a wonderful day," said the rabbit. "Yes, and we must come back here again," agreed Bella. "Maybe even make our secret base here," suggested the hedgehog. "Great idea!" exclaimed the squirrel. They all agreed to create their secret base in the cave, and already started planning what it would look like. Bella, the hedgehog, the squirrel, and the rabbit understood that together they could overcome any difficulty and turn any adventure into an unforgettable memory. As evening fell, They emerged from the cave and found that a strong wind and rain had started, and lightning flashed in the sky. "Oh no, how will we get home in this weather?" asked the frightened squirrel. "We must hurry before it gets worse," replied Bella. They ran through the forest, but the rain and wind became stronger, and it was difficult for them to breathe. "We can't keep going like this. We need to find shelter," shouted the hedgehog. "Look, there's a small house. Let's hide there," pointed Bella to a house visible in the distance. They ran towards the house, but when they approached it, they saw that the door was closed. "What do we do now?" asked the shivering rabbit. "Let's try to find another way in," said Bella. They searched the house and found a small window they could open. "Let's try to climb through this window," suggested the squirrel. They managed to open the window and crawled inside. The house was warm and dry. "Oh, thank you for finding this place," sighed Bella. "But what if people live here?" asked the hedgehog. "We'll tell them we got lost and ask for their help," replied Bella. "Yes, and we need to quickly find a way to contact our parents so they know we're safe," added the squirrel. They found a phone in the house and called their parents to let them know they had found shelter from the rain and wind. "We're so glad you're safe," replied Bella's mom. "Yes, and we'll be home soon as the weather improves," assured Bella. They spent the whole night in the house, while the rain and wind did not stop. In the morning, they emerged from the house and were happy to return home. From that day on, Bella, who had been very fearful, became braver and more confident. She realized that she could overcome her fears if she acted together with her friends. The story of Bella, the hedgehog, the squirrel, and the rabbit shows how important it is to have friends and work together. They overcame difficulties and achieved their goal to find and save their rabbit friend. Additionally, their adventures helped Bella overcome her fears and become braver. This story vividly demonstrates that friendship and cooperation can help us overcome any difficulties and achieve any goal. When we work together, we can use our individual strengths and offset our weaknesses to achieve more. Ultimately, courage lies not only in the bravery to act in a scary situation, but also in the ability to overcome our fears, to achieve our goals. Thus, the story of Bella and her friends is a wonderful example of how courage can be developed in us when we work together with friends and use our individual strengths to achieve a common goal. Deep within the magical forest, among the lush green trees and colorful flowers, stood a small cottage. In it lived a gray kitten named Kitty. His fur was soft and fluffy, and his eyes were big and sad. In the evenings, when stars sparkled outside the window, Kitty sat by the window, dreaming of having at least one friend. Kitty felt lonely in this magical forest. He had tried many times to befriend other animals, but they all avoided him. Strange and amazing things happened in this forest. At night, the moon illuminated mysterious paths, and the wind whispered secrets. One evening, Kitty decided to go on a journey to find true friends. He packed his small belongings and took the first step into the world of magic and adventure. Kitty set off in search of friends, enjoying the scent of fresh greenery and the cheerful singing of birds. Soon he heard a sad voice. "Oh, I'm so lonely." Kitty approached the source of the sound and saw a lonely squirrel with sad eyes. She sat on a branch and looked down. "Hello. I'm Kitty," "Why are you so sad?" the kitten asked. The squirrel replied, "Hello, kitty. My name is Linda. I am lonely because I have no friends." With these words, she sighed sadly. Kitty realized that the squirrel was lonely and offered Linda to be his friend. They decided to continue their journey together. A little further, they heard a quiet voice saying, "It's so cold and lonely here." On an old branch sat a lonely owl with round eyes, enveloped in darkness. "Hello, owl. We are also looking for friends. What is your name?" Linda asked. The owl replied, "My name is Ara. I'm glad I met you. Can we be friends?" The three lonely animals joined together in search of friends, and each thought to themselves, "Finally, I will find friends, and I won't be so lonely." They continued their journey, meeting different forest dwellers and listening to their stories of loneliness. That's how Keddy found his first friends and hope for a happy future. As they went further, the travelers suddenly noticed that they had ended up in a maze of dense bushes. They were surrounded by a mist of mystery and anxiety. "Oh no! How did we get here?" Kitty thought anxiously. They tried to split up to find a way out, but soon lost each other among the winding paths. Linda exclaimed in fear in her mind. "Where is everyone? What if I never find my new friends?" She continued to search for a way out of the maze, hoping to meet Kitty and Ara. Ara, in turn, felt anxious and lonely, pondering his situation. "I need to gather my thoughts and find my friends. Together we can get out of here." As they wandered through the maze, a gloomy atmosphere surrounded them, and everything seemed incredibly complex. But suddenly, Kitty heard a familiar voice. "Linda, Ara, where are you?" It was Linda's voice, shouting as she tried to find her friends. "Linda, it's me, Keddy. I'm coming to you," the kitten shouted. Finally, they found each other at a crossroads of twists, relieved and happy. They hugged. Together they continued to search for Ara, and soon they heard his voice joyfully shouting, "Friends, I found the exit." Exhausted but happy, they left the maze and continued their adventure, promising themselves to be more careful and not to lose each other in the future, because now they understood that their friendship was the most important and valuable thing they had. Kitty, Linda, and Ara continued their journey through the magical forest when Kitty remembered a story he had heard from a rabbit last summer. "Friends, I remember hearing about a magical oak tree that can grant the most cherished wish to find true friends." "We must find it," he said. "What an interesting idea, Keddy." "Of course, let's try to find this oak," Linda exclaimed with hope in her voice. Ara agreed. "Yes, it's a great plan. Together we can overcome all difficulties and find this magical oak." They embarked on a dangerous adventure, crossing snow-covered fields, gloomy swamps, and overcoming mountain passes. They faced obstacles and dangers along the way, but their friendship only grew stronger. Soon they found themselves at the very heart of the magical forest, where they saw a huge ancient oak. Its mighty branches touched the sky, and its roots went deep into the earth. The atmosphere around was filled with mystery and magic. "Here it is, the magical oak," Keddy exclaimed, and his voice sounded as if an echo spread throughout the forest. "Incredible! It really exists," Linda thought joyfully. Ara, full of awe, whispered, "What a majestic oak! It must be older than all of us combined." Together, they approached the oak and placed their paws on its mighty trunk to make their cherished wishes. At that moment, the entire forest seemed to come alive, and they felt a powerful energy that united their hearts. Their adventure continued, and they realized that the magic of the magical oak had already begun to work. The next morning, Kitty, Linda, and Era set off for home, as they were very far away from it. Walking along the path, they found themselves in front of a gigantic weathered wooden door, covered in moss and cobwebs. "We need to open this door," said Kitty, and his voice trembled with excitement. "I think we can do it together. After all, we've been through so much already," thought Linda, clenching her little paws into a fist. Ara nodded and said, "That's right, friends. If we work together, we can open this door." Using their skills and knowledge, they managed to open the mysterious door, revealing a new, amazing world before them. The magical forest unveiled its secrets and wonders to them. They found rare flowers that could heal any wounds, and shimmering stones, capable of illuminating the darkest corners of the forest. Traveling further, they met other forest dwellers, who were also seeking friends and adventures. Together, they faced unpredictable situations and dangers, and each new challenge made their friendship even stronger. "I'm so glad we're together, friends," said Linda, looking at her companions with gratitude in her eyes. "This is our greatest adventure, and I'm glad we're going through it all together," thought Kitty, feeling happy and confident. Linda shared her feelings. "It's been an incredible adventure, and I'm so grateful that we all became friends." Ara added, "Now our friendship is stronger than ever, and we'll help each other in all our future adventures." Together, they approached the magical oak tree again, and realized that it actually symbolized the friendship they found in each other. All their trials and adventures helped them understand the main morale of the story: to be friendly and care for those who are lonely, because loneliness can be a sad and difficult ordeal. Friends, I realized that genuine friendship is our greatest treasure. The magical oak symbolizes the strength and beauty of our friendship, said Kitty, glowing with happiness. You're right, Kitty. We've learned to appreciate each other and care for our friends who were lonely and needed our support, thought Linda, looking at her friends with pride and love. Ara nodded and added, exactly. True friendship is what accompanies us throughout our lives and makes our world better and brighter. The sun was slowly setting in the distance, and the last rays of light warmed our new friends.